Joe Gorcho, WIS-TV, Columbia, South Carolina. Congrats, Dawn, on the win today. What does it say about your team that Aaliyah Boston, the force that she has been, goes scoreless in the first half, yet offensively you guys look so connected? What message and how much confidence does that give you moving forward for a player like Boston to be held scoreless, and yet your team still finds ways to light it up?
This team is resilient and determined and focused on the task at hand. And we found ourselves with Aaliyah Boston in a little foul trouble early on, so we had to pivot, and this team pivoted extremely well today. It's good to hit shots. I think we can afford ourselves that situation when we're hitting shots. I just thought over the course of 40 minutes, I thought we did a great job at just making Georgia Tech go a little bit deeper into some of the things that they wanted. Lotta got off early. They tried to find mismatches on the floor, and I just thought we did a great job at just winning the game, doing whatever we needed to do to win the game, no matter how it looked. But fortunately for us, we got some shots to fall, and got some shots to fall deep.
Next question is from David. David, please unmute yourself and state your name and affiliation.
Hey, Dawn, David Cloninger from the Post and Courier back home. You mentioned hitting shots. Just how much confidence does it give you that even when Aaliyah may not be hitting them, you can go to the bench and get a couple of threes from Destiny Littleton and get 10 points in the first half from LA?
It's great. We're playing where I thought we could play a little bit earlier in the season or later in the season. I just think there's an extra effort of concentration. There's an extra effort of players knowing that they're going to play. Like, LA knows she's going to play, and she's going to play some pretty significant minutes for us. Destiny Littleton knows that she's going to play. So I think they can relax, and once they get in the game, they can be who they are and the best version of who they are. And it couldn't happen at a more crucial time with Lily going out.
Next question is from Chantel. Please unmute yourself and state your name and affiliation.
Hey, Dawn, this is Chantel Jennings with The Athletic. In your post-game interview with LaChina, you had mentioned sort of that balance of being focused but loose and kind of striking that balance. You thought maybe they were a little too focused early on in the game. I'm just curious, in a bubble setting, because this has taken all of you guys, coaches, players, out of the routines that you're used to, how much harder is it to find that balance going into games when you guys are doing something you've never really done in terms of this situation?
Well, I thought for the first two games we were pretty loose, meaning focused but loose. Today I thought we were focused and tight, and I don't know if that helped the ball go in the hole a little bit better. It's just defensively in the first quarter, we had some miscommunication on our ball screen defense, and then we, second quarter we just had to scrap it because, they weren't doing what we game plan for. So, and the coaches, we got together and just said, we're going to actually do what they're doing. We're just going to go under it, because we were getting hung up on it, and we were supposed to switch in different instances, and we just found the path of least resistance in doing the things that they were doing out there and making adjustments around just what they were doing naturally. And if they were a little tight, then we got to go with the flow. We just can't put a square peg in a round hole and try to, get them to do it the way we feel gives us a better opportunity to win.
Next question is from Doug. Doug, please unmute yourself and state your name and affiliation.
Hey, Dawn, Doug Feinberg, the Associated Press. I got two questions for you. The first one is, what does it mean to get this team in the Elite Eight again? I know you've been there a few times recently, but to get back to that spot. And the second one is, what did it mean to have your sister here today watching the game, watching you guys live?
To get back here, not very many teams have gotten here. Not very many South Carolina teams. I think one, other than what we've been through. It's the hard work and the, what the legacy of some of our leaders who played here at South Carolina left with us. Ty and Kiki, they've been here before. They got robbed of an opportunity to come back here last year. So it's great to see them leaving this type of legacy with some of these younger players, and they've gotten us back to this point. So it wasn't just about this year. Our players played extremely hard this year, and they put themselves in this position. But if we didn't have the type of season that we had last year and the interactions that we had within our team, I don't think you can just come here, there are too many great teams and great programs here to think you can just flip a switch and be here. There are people that put us in this position that allowed us to familiarize ourselves with playing at a high level, and when it was time to do that, we're able to do that, so it's great. My sister being here is an awesome thing. I look forward to hearing her call my name out. I don't know where she is all the time, but I'll give her, once I hear it, I'll give her a little nod, a little Philly nod to say, yep, I hear you, but I can't see you, especially if I don't have my glasses on. But it's great. She made the trip out here last night, got in late, got up early, got some breakfast, and, she got into her game day routine, and it was good to share this moment with her, and hopefully we can continue that so her stay can be extended.
Next question is from Mike. Mike, please unmute yourself and state your name and affiliation.
Hey, Dawn, this is actually Cam Gaskins with ABC Columbia. I forgot to change my name out when I logged in. You've talked a lot about your defense having turned a corner and having bailed out some of your less impressive offensive performances. So seeing the shooting performance you guys had today, how important is it to see that complementary two-way type of game moving forward through this tournament?
It was awesome. I was almost feeling bad for our players because we haven't hit very many three-point baskets, and we've taken good shots, but they just didn't fall. So from when did we play? We played on Monday, Tuesday. So we played on Tuesday. So we had a day off on Wednesday, but we asked the players if they wanted to shoot, and they all wanted to shoot. So we took them over, shot for an hour, and a lot of stuff that we did was just three-point shooting. We did that on Thursday and Friday, and Saturday. So we got a lot of three-point shooting in. So I think that helped a great deal. It was great to see Zaya get him to go down because she's a pretty good catch and shoot three-point shooter. But everybody, we had 8 of them. Everybody got Destiny Littleton was great to see that ball go in. And I do believe somebody else, Destiny Henderson got one to go in. So it's great. I think if we can get that going, it gives us an extra layer of confidence and an extra layer of something that, our opponents have to guard.
Next question is from Eric. Eric, please unmute yourself and state your name and affiliation.
Yeah, hi, Don. Eric Boynton with the Spartanburg Herald Journal. Is that about as good a game as you've seen from LA? She thought it was maybe her best all-around game during her time at USC, and obviously she should be here.
Okay, I didn't hear the last part of it, but I'll answer the first part that I heard, and that is LA. Super proud of her. Super proud. Like, LA is probably the most confident, the most focused, the most she's got a little stubbornness in her. You don't overcome 2 ACLs in a year and a half span and not have some stubbornness to her. But her stubbornness also allowed her to stay focused and to stay confident. We didn't know what this year was going to end up being. I do believe that LA is a player that needs to be needed. She needs to be needed. Like, she needs to know a consistent game plan, knowing that she's going to get in the game. That helps. I think as a coach, as as I reflect on, how she's played this year, and I look at how she's playing now, I probably should have did something a little bit different. Which is, and granted, we're in a pandemic. We had a shortened season, so we didn't have any fluff into our schedule to kind of experiment. We did experiment very early on in the year with actually playing her at the 3 and playing her on a perimeter. And I just thought that took away from her focus. She was focusing on a lot of different things, playing the post, playing the 3, playing the perimeter. So I just chose to play her at the post because we're thin in the post. But having her play, both on the perimeter and in the post has really helped her confidence, and it's given her the room that she needs to, for us to see all that talent, all that skill set. And I'm super happy for her because she stayed there with us. A lot of people would have been disgruntled. A lot of people would probably have been thinking about transferring. It probably would have got leaked out. But no, this team has been pretty special and pretty professional about things. And that's, one of the things that I love about them is they only want to play and they want the best for each other, even if it's at their expense. And not a lot of young people are able to balance that, but still stay confident. But then when their number's called, say, hey, she stuck it to me. Like, this is what you could have been getting all year long, if you believed in me, if you give me that opportunity. So I'm certainly a believer.
Next question is from David. David, please unmute yourself and state your name and affiliation.
Hey, Dawn, it's Dave from the Post and Courier again. Wanted to ask you about Bria Beal. She seems to have turned it on late 4-6 today. Did you notice maybe in the past couple of months that she had maybe lost a little bit of confidence in her shot, that she'd pass up some open looks just maybe because they hadn't been going in for her as much?
Yeah, I mean, when you're not and it goes back to what I just talked about with LA, your confidence can wane a bit when you're not doing it consistently. So yes, I do think she went through a period where she had 2 pretty good games offensively. And then after those 2 games, you want to play at that level. You want to continue to give that contribution, but sometimes just things happen. You're less focused on it, or you get to a point where you press a little bit and it becomes a head game. Becomes totally in your head. Nothing to do with, you can't shoot, because I've never told a player not to shoot, ever. I won't ever tell a player not to shoot. I will explain to them what are good shots and what are bad shots. And, I think sometimes if I tell Bree that was a bad shot, because if you're open in, 25 seconds on the shot clock and you're open at 22 seconds on the shot clock, you're probably going to be open at 10. So let's go through, our offensive sets and see if we can create other opportunities for other people. And then you get yourself ready to take that shot when it gets back around to you. And sometimes that plays with younger players, like we don't have confidence, but you're open for a reason. They're taking their chances with you rather than the other players who are used to doing that. So she's at a good place. She's very, very focused. She's making her shots, and, she's got a great balance of what she's doing.
We have time for one more question, and that question is from Greg. Greg, please unmute yourself and state your name and affiliation.
Hey, Dawn, it's Greg Hadley from the State. I was just curious. We've talked so much about missed layups this year and how that's kind of been a bugaboo. You guys are 19 of 25 today. It seemed like a lot of efficient shooting performances. How pleased were you to see that?
Super pleased. I think I think our offense, although our defense wasn't bad, it wasn't superb, but our offense actually carried us today with our ability to hit layups and our ability to stretch the floor and hit some threes. So it's a work in progress. I hope it continues to get better, and we're able to just continue to showcase that in this tournament, because you got some great programs here that can put a lot of points on the scoreboard. But for us, we're going to have a tremendous balance between the two, just defending and being able to efficiently score.